Hey everyone, welcome back to MS English, the place where we dive deep into all things personal growth, language, and life-changing ideas. I'm Jake.
And I'm Mia. Today, we're diving into a topic that is truly transformative. Can changing your mindset change your life?
This is such an important topic because your mindset is the lens through which you view everything in your life. From school to relationships to your future success, your mindset impacts every single area.
Exactly. But before we get into all the juicy details, let's take a quick step back. What exactly is mindset? And why does it matter so much?
Great question, Mia. So, mindset is basically the way you think and feel about yourself, your abilities, and the world around you. It's the mental attitude you have toward life's challenges and how you approach those challenges.
There are two main types of mindset: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset is when you believe that your abilities, intelligence, and qualities are fixed. You're either born with them or you're not. If you fail, you think it's because you just don't have what it takes.
And then there's the growth mindset. This is when you believe that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, effort, and learning. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges, persist through obstacles, and learn from feedback.
So, basically, it's all about how you see challenges and growth. And if you're thinking, okay, that sounds nice, but what's the science behind it? Don't worry, we've got you covered.
Yes, there's actually a ton of research on this. Studies show that people with a growth mindset are more likely to take on challenges, work harder, and ultimately achieve more. The brain itself is plastic, which means it's capable of change. Our neurons can form new connections and adapt based on our thoughts and experiences.
This is called neuroplasticity. It's the ability of your brain to rewire itself, especially when you challenge your old thought patterns. So, by changing your mindset, you can literally change the structure of your brain.
That's wild. But what does this look like in the real world? Let's break it down.
For example, let's say you're facing a tough math test. If you have a fixed mindset, you might think, I'm terrible at math. I'll never get better at this. But someone with a growth mindset would think, this is tough, but if I put in the effort and learn from my mistakes, I can improve.
Exactly. And that shift in thinking can actually make a huge difference. It changes how you approach the challenge and how you feel about failure. It's not about avoiding failure, but learning from it and moving forward.
Now, Jake and I both have our own personal stories about how shifting our mindsets has affected our lives. Jake, do you want to start?
Sure. So, when I was younger, I had a pretty fixed mindset, especially around public speaking. I was terrified of talking in front of a group, and I would get so nervous, thinking I was just bad at it. But after a while, I realized that the more I practiced, the better I got. It wasn't that I had no skill, I just had to develop it over time. The moment I shifted to a growth mindset, everything started to change.
That's such a powerful example, Jake. I actually had a similar experience with writing. When I first started, I would compare myself to other people and think, I'll never be as good as them. But once I adopted a growth mindset and focused on improving step by step, I became more confident. Now I love writing, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
And that's the thing about mindset. It shapes everything. Whether it's your career, your relationships, or your personal goals, having a positive, growth-oriented mindset makes a huge difference in your ability to succeed.
So true. And there are so many benefits to having a positive mindset. People with a growth mindset are more resilient, adaptable, and open to feedback. They're also more likely to experience higher levels of happiness and success in their personal and professional lives.
Absolutely. And just think about the impact on your mental health. When you believe that you can grow and learn from challenges, it reduces anxiety and stress because you see difficulties as opportunities rather than threats.
The first thing you need to do is recognize the power of self-talk. How you talk to yourself matters a lot. If you keep telling yourself, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough, you're only reinforcing a negative mindset.
Exactly. Your mind believes what you tell it. So if you want to change your mindset, you have to start by changing how you talk to yourself. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, I might not know how to do this yet, but I can learn.
Yes, the word yet is so powerful. It's a small word, but it shifts everything. Instead of seeing a challenge as something you'll never overcome,
And this leads us to another important tool, affirmations. Positive affirmations are a way to reinforce new, growth-oriented beliefs. These are simple statements that you repeat to yourself, like, I am capable, or I can learn and grow through challenges.
affirmations work because they rewire your brain to focus on positive beliefs instead of limiting ones. You can start your day by telling yourself something empowering. Over time, this builds your confidence and encourages a growth mindset.
Another thing you can do is practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have. This simple practice can help you feel more optimistic and content, which in turn encourages a more positive, growth-driven mindset.
And I think the next step, which is so important, is embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. When you have a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. The more challenges you take on, the stronger your mindset becomes.
Right. It's easy to avoid things you're not good at, but remember, growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. So don't be afraid to fail. Failing doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're learning.
Speaking of learning, let's talk about feedback. People with a growth mindset actively seek feedback because they see it as a tool for improvement. They don't take it personally, they see it as a way to get better.
That's so true. Feedback can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're used to a fixed mindset, but in the long run, it's one of the best ways to grow. Instead of saying, I messed up, say, this is something I can learn from. Feedback helps you identify areas to improve and grow stronger.
So, to sum it up so far, you can change your mindset by working on your self talk, using affirmations, practicing gratitude, embracing challenges, and seeking feedback. But what about when things get tough? Because let's face it, changing your mindset isn't always easy.
Ah, that's a great point. Changing your mindset doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistent effort, and you're going to face obstacles along the way. Let's talk about how to overcome some of the common challenges that come with this process.
One big obstacle people face when trying to change their mindset is self doubt. It's easy to feel like you're not making progress or that you'll never be able to change. But remember, mindset shifts take time. You're not going to change everything in a day, but every small step forward counts.
Exactly. Don't let self-doubt hold you back. Be patient with yourself and keep pushing through. When you start seeing small improvements, they'll build up and make a huge difference over time. Another challenge is fear of failure. When we try something new or different, fear of failing can keep us stuck. But failure is actually part of the process. People with a growth mindset understand that failing is just a part of the learning journey.
Yes, fear of failure can be paralyzing. But remember, every failure is just a lesson in disguise. If you fail at something, you now know what doesn't work. You can take that information, adjust your approach, and try again.
Now, let's talk about old habits. Changing your mindset means breaking old, limiting habits, and that's not easy. It's easy to fall back into your comfort zone, but remember, growth happens when you push through those old habits.
And here's something that can really help when things get tough. Surround yourself with people who support your growth. When you're around people who have a growth mindset, it's easier to stay motivated and on track. Find a group or community that encourages you to keep pushing forward.
That's a great point. Having a support system can make all the difference. Whether it's friends, family, or an online community, finding people who share your goals and mindset can really help you stay focused.
Now, let's get into some real-world examples. I think stories are one of the best ways to see how a mindset shift can change someone's life.
Absolutely. One person who comes to mind is Michael Jordan. If you don't know, he was cut from his high school basketball team. He could have taken that as a sign that he wasn't good enough and given up. But instead, he used it as motivation. He worked harder, learned from every failure, and became one of the greatest basketball players of all time.
Right, and he's always talked about how important failure was to his success. His mindset was key to his journey. He saw setbacks as stepping stones, not roadblocks.
Another great example is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before she became successful, she faced multiple rejections from publishers. But she didn't give up. She believed in her story, kept pushing forward, and now, look at her. She's one of the most successful authors in history.
And she talks openly about how much she struggled before she became successful. She kept
Exactly. So if you're ever doubting yourself or thinking you can't achieve something, just remember that these people didn't give up on their dreams. They kept going because they believed they could improve and grow.
So let's wrap this up. Changing your mindset can absolutely change your life. It's not about magically becoming successful overnight. It's about putting in the effort, staying positive, and focusing on growth.
And remember, this is a process. It won't always be easy, but every small step you take towards changing your mindset is a step towards transforming your life.
So we challenge you. Start today. Begin changing your mindset, embrace challenges, seek feedback, and practice positive self-talk. You've got this.
Thank you for listening to MS English. We hope you feel inspired to take control of your mindset and change your life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with anyone who might need a little mindset shift.
Catch you next time. Remember, growth is the key to everything. Take care and keep growing.
Bye.